My name is Pasha Stout, and I'm the Postmaster General of the British Virgin Islands Postal Services. Premier, Dr. D. Honorable D. Orlando Smith, OBE, Honorable Marcel Gomes, Prime Minister of St. Martin, Honorable Victor Banks, Chief Minister, Anguilla, Honorable Lennox Weston, Minister of Finance, Antigua, Honorable Adrian Brathwaite, Attorney General and Minister of Home Affairs, Barbados, Honorable Gregory Bowen, Minister for Communications and Works, Grenada, Honorable Camila Roma, Minister for Traffic and Transportation, Curaçao, Honorable Maxwell Charles, Minister for Natural Reconciliation, St. Vincent, Mr. Alessandro UPU, Director of the Executive Office, Mr. Renal Baldio Singh, Secretary General of the Caribbean Postal Union, OECS, CARICOM, CCLEC, Prime, PUASP, the United States, all delegates, ladies, gentlemen, a warm welcome this morning to the Caribbean Council of Postal Affairs Conference. As the proceedings go on, we will hope and we will wish that we will all have a fruitful conference for the next day and a half. So without further ado, I will move right forward and ask the Premier of the British Virgin Islands to come and give his remarks.
It is my pleasure to share this stage with Interim Secretary General Mr. Baldio Singh and UPA Director Mr. Alejandro Giro. I'm pleased also to be among fellow leaders, and I want to especially mention Mr. Marcel Gomes, the Prime Minister of St. Martin. He was here just a few months ago. I think he enjoyed himself and is happy to be back with us, Marcel. And also the Chief Minister of Anguilla, my good friend, Mr. Honorable Victor Banks. Thank you. I also welcome all the other ministers who are representing Post to this morning's conference. I must say right now that I will have to leave immediately after I speak because I've got to be at the meeting for the start of the law year, where the Chief Justice will be speaking. But I had to be here to welcome you, my friends, to this conference. It is my understanding that the plenary sessions early this week were intense and productive, and there's much more to come today and tomorrow. A few days ago, I delivered remarks at the opening ceremony for the Caribbean Postal Union Conference, where postal administrators were discussing at great length the future of the region's postal services. I said then that postal administrations remain essential as to provide a link between nations across borders at the most effective rates possible and as trade facilitators and provide business services to the farthest corners of the world. Now today as leaders, we are here to take the dialogue to an even higher level and lend support to the policies and proposals that are drafted coming out of this week's activities. We have a common objective, and that is to seek to harmonize regional postal services. And this is important, especially in today's global economy, where postal services are filled with several challenges, including the threat of heightened terrorism. As governments elected to protect and serve, we must remain ever cognizant of the integral roles that postal administrations play in national security, since they serve as an avenue through which goods are moved across borders. Further to these security threats, as leaders we must lend our support to the actions of our postal administrations to forge strong alliances with the border control agencies in our territories. This will ensure that our borders are easier to manage and control. We can all agree that the postal services play a key role in the fiscal development. Therefore, we must all be concerned with the challenges faced with the transportation of mail. This is perhaps the weakest part of a logistical network which needs to be rectified. I reiterate my hope that our transportation partners, the ANC carriers of the day will come to understand the basic commitment by nations across the world to provide individuals with basic postal services. In this regard, the transportation of mail at minimal cost to postal administrations can become a fundamental part of their business models to reflect their sense of corporate responsibility. Colleagues, despite the fact that there are advanced telecommunication systems in more advanced territories and nations of the world, with all forms of electronic mail, post continues to be relevant. As the Caribbean region, we must retool ourselves in today's technological environment to serve not only the vulnerable in our society, but to also provide the next generation of sustainable postal services that only a network like the Global Postal Network, headed by the Universal Postal Union, can provide. Harmonization, sustainability, e-commerce, postal security, and service diversity must all become synonymous with postal service delivery in our respective countries and throughout the region. I like what Mr. Balio Singh said on Monday morning during his speech when he said that while postal administrators face challenging times, together as members of one union, we can continue to explore viable solutions to maintaining our postal services. This is so true. We have the opportunity to ensure that the network of administration throughout the region and globally not only exists into the foreseeable future, but is efficient and competitive. This is what we have gathered here to discuss and to achieve. I wish to congratulate the government of Aruba and Honorable Mike de Mesa, the Minister of Finance, Communications, Utilities, and Energy. I know that he's unable to be here, but has representation through Mr. Raymond Guillermo, the Director of the Post in Aruba. Please do tell Mr. de Mesa that we thank him and his team for so ably leading the charge during your chairmanship to ensure that Caribbean postal environment remained relevant. I know that we still have a lot of work to do, and I ask all of you here today to continue to join in making sure that the Caribbean region becomes a shining light and model in exceptional postal services for the rest of the world. Once again, I welcome you to the BVI, and I look forward to our interactive and frank discussions. I am confident that as Caribbean leaders, we will leave poised with solid ideas and positions for consideration at the next Universal Postal Union Conference in Turkey in 2016. So again, I welcome to the BVI, and I look forward to these discussions when I return. Thank you.
We will now welcome Mr. Alisson Giro, the Director of the Executive Office of the Universal Postal Union, to come and render his remarks.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. I am here to deliver the speech from the Director General, Mr. Bushar Abdurrahman Hussein, who is not able to be here today with us. I shall not withdraw a word. Your Excellency, the Honorable Dr. Orlando Smith, Premier of the British Virgin Islands and Minister of Finance, Honorable Prime Ministers, Honorable Ministers, esteemed CEOs of postal and regulatory organizations, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to address this Council of Ministers meeting for the Caribbean region in the beautiful island of Tortola. Unfortunately, due to some difficult circumstances, I am unable to be with you today, as already communicated to His Excellency Dr. Orlando Smith. However, it was my duty to you to send my trusted team of senior UPU International Bureau staff, Mr. Giro, myself, Director of the Executive Office, Strategy and Communication, Mr. Rudy Quadra, Director of Development Cooperation, as well as the Regional Project Coordinator, Ms. Owena Bipot Price. They will present an overview of the Universal Postal Union evaluate changing postal market scenarios, and examine the urgent need for the postal sector to respond to opportunities and challenges. Please rest assured that your concerns and wishes will be communicated to me and that I will continue to provide my full support for the development of your region in full compliance with your development plans. As we all know, the Universal Postal Union, with its headquarters in the Swiss capital of Bern, is the second oldest international organization. With its 192 member countries, the UPU is the primary forum for cooperation between postal sector players and stakeholders. It helps to ensure a truly universal postal network designed and strategically positioned to deliver innovative, integrative, and inclusive development solutions to its member countries. The organization provides technical assistance where needed, sets the rule for international mail exchanges, and makes recommendations to stimulate economic growth. The UPU and the Post represent very important infrastructures for the social and economic development of nations. Postal infrastructure and systems can provide market visibility to MSMEs and help boost exports worldwide. Postal networks are indeed facilitator and integrator of trade in all of the 192 UPU member countries. For many years, the Post's competitive edge has rested on its extensive global network and trust among customers. However, given the rapid developments in the areas of communication, trade facilitation and e-commerce, postal financial services and financial inclusion, information and communication technologies, new demands have emerged since then. There is a need for the postal sector to offer appropriate, efficient, modern, and sustainable solutions that match the needs and expectations of governments, businesses, and citizens. To successfully address the dynamic changes taking place in the marketplace, radical reforms are called for in the postal sector. These reforms will accord the industry more flexibility for innovation into new business areas. My commitment to you is to innovate, transform, and accelerate the development of postal infrastructure, particularly in the Caribbean region. At the UPU Regional Strategy Conference for the Caribbean region held over the past 2 days, the key priorities identified by the region for the next cycle, 2017-2020 cycle, were strengthening operational efficiency and effectiveness and e-commerce development. This is a clear indication from the region that the postal sector is ready to equip itself to address changing market scenarios. The vast UPU network will also be harnessed to provide a wide range of services to people struggling to lift themselves out of poverty and exclusion. Governments must take notice of the important role the Post can play in meeting the development goals, particularly towards the fulfillment of the post-2015 Sustainable Development Goals developed by the United Nations system. Regulatory bodies should also play their role in providing and enabling relevant postal legislation and regulations. Close collaboration between governments, posts, and regulatory authorities is important and urgent to enhance the international, regional, national postal infrastructure. Your postal network should be designed and positioned to provide the development solutions requested by your people. Your Excellencies, I wish to conclude this address by sharing my vision for 2020, which is to help deliver with your support and cooperation a postal world that is driven by innovation, a postal world that is fully integrated and efficient, a postal world that is inclusive for all mankind, and a postal infrastructure that is a trusted driver of innovation, integration, economic growth, development, and inclusion. I wish you fruitful deliberation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Guido, for your remarks. We will now welcome Mr. Renal Baldio Singh, the Interim Secretary General of the CPU, to give his remarks.
The Honorable Dr. D. Orlando Smith, Premier of the British Virgin Islands, the Honorable Mr. Marcel Gomes, Prime Minister of St. Martin, the Honorable Victor Banks, Chief Minister of Anguilla. Other ministers present, Mr. Alassane Giro, Director of Strategy at the UPU, Mr. Kevin Smith, retired Postmaster General, representatives of, representatives of all agencies here, members of the CPU, friends, members of the media, good morning. At risk of belaboring the points already discussed over the past few days, I choose to take the time allotted to me to make opening remarks to share with the Council of Ministers some of the key issues discussed by the CPU and the UPU over the past few days. When we started, the CPU countries identified several internal issues that needs to be solved regionally, and therefore we share with you, the Council of Ministers, that in your collaboration and in your caucus, we expect and we hope for an injection of ideas and resources and solutions that may drive the continued development and evolution of Post regionally. We found that we needed to develop our human capital. We looked at the problems of the inter-island and extra-regional transportation network and the impact on the Post, the need to stay profitable even with declining mail volumes, the thrust towards e-commerce and international financial services. When we met and we spoke about the matters to present to the UPU, we have successfully brought onto the UPU's agenda for the Caribbean region the need to strengthen operational efficiency and effectiveness and e-commerce, and at a second level, financial services, postal sector development, and product diversification. I know also, from hearing from Mr. Udall this morning, that these items have already obtained the attention of the CARICOM Secretariat. So we have found some success. But the nature of the forum today and tomorrow, and coming from what we did over the past few days, we look at what is the global policy direction for mail, what is being prepared by the UPU for the Congress, and how do we bring that into a regional perspective to redound to the benefit of local postal operators? And the answer is via you, the Council of Ministers, where we know that the policy formulation and the direction from the various ministries responsible for post could add to the solutions that we currently seek. Hot on the agenda would be e-commerce. And I said it before, and I'd like to say it again, that if e-commerce is seen as purchasing from abroad and efficiently delivering packages purchased abroad, then our funds and our money from this region is being spent abroad. But if, via the Council of Ministers, we get support for causing local and regional merchants to go online and set up online payment platforms, then purchases will occur regionally, and the economies will benefit from the sales of the online shopping, as well as the post could be benefiting from the delivery of packages. So the paradigm shift from e-commerce as procuring abroad and bringing to a skybox in Miami has to change at this level, where we drive the development of e-commerce platforms and online shopping locally. When we look at international financial services, the repatriation of funds earned abroad really shows that the sources of these funds are the UK, USA, and Canada. And therefore, we need, at the Council of Ministers, a solution where we could either partner, develop, or grow the financial services sector, even going back to the days of the post office bank, where the money being repatriated could pass through all post offices, and therefore we will benefit from this business. Honorable ministers, we are not here to say that we do not have a solution. We are here to say we have some ideas and we need it taken to a higher level. We thank you for your presence here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baldev Singh. And in closing, I would like to thank each minister for the distances they have traveled to be here. This represents to us your commitment to the post. For this, once again, I say a heartfelt thank you. I would like to thank my postal colleagues for their support, their valuable input, the discussions that we've had thus far, and we look forward to an even more fruitful discussions with the minister's inclusion as we go through the next day and a half. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.